Hello, this is my chapter 6 assignment. This one is peculiar. Beyond just the hypothetical scenario that we are being put into, I kind of lived this in real life with one of my previous jobs as well as one of my current jobs. Not my department though, thankfully. Um, and of course, as fellow employees of the select individuals that are involved in the particular scenario, we all have opinions on how we would address the situation. Of course, it's work drama, I guess you could say. Um, but this is kind of how I would approach it. You're my best guy. I know you. I trust you. You've treated me well. So you're gonna have some slack. My other employees might not like you. There is always, especially like let's say in like a sales department or some type of retail situation, where whether the employees are commissioned or not, or if they have to kind of compete against each other, or if they're by themselves, whatever the situation may be, there's always some competitiveness. Um, Even in like my situation in real life, our department is commission based, but it's pot commission rather than individual. So everybody's personal sales numbers go into a pot, and then you get paid off the average of the pot rather than this person did 10K versus this person only did 5. But regardless, there's still a sense of competitiveness. We want to try and boost our numbers above our fellow employees. So, with that being said, the other employees are going to feel like there's a competition, and since you're such a good employee, apparently there might be a sense of hopelessness. So they're going to try and find a way to get at you another direction rather than through sales numbers. Um, with that being said, I do believe that there is a certain level of professionalism that must be maintained. Now, again, I work in an industry that is, I'd say, male dominant. Things are considered more masculine. I work at a in the parts department on the shop side of a large dealership. I'm not on the sales floor. I'm not in the service drive. It's like one of the advisors or anything. I'm in the shop, and in the shop, there's what we call shop talk, and it's just kind of accepted that if it's between you and the guys, or if it's a female, I mean, we do have female technicians as well as female employees in the parts department, and they also kind of understand the culture of shop talk. Shop talk is vulgar. It's more uh, along the lines of locker room talk, but not as, I guess you could say, quite that. But it's just kind of accepted that yeah, you're gonna have cursing, yeah, you're gonna have dirty jokes and stuff like that, as long as all parties involved are comfortable with it. It's a kind of an unspoken rule because obviously there are some comments or some things that can easily fall into like harassment, like sexual harassment or something like that. Um, but it's kind of addressed. It's kind of, if you say something that somebody doesn't like, instead of immediately running to HR, if it's like a one-off comment, or if someone's working on a car and busts their knuckles and drops the f-bomb because they're frustrated, kind of a thing. Hey, you go talk to the person and just be like, "Hey, I didn't really appreciate that. Can you do something about it?" Rather than go scream HR. With that being said, though, as my number one employee, I'm going to treat it kind of in a situation where everyone in the department, if they're not necessarily bothered by it, then I'm probably not going to do anything. But if you start doing that to customers, or if your comments affect the customer experience, then I'm going to have to sit you down, because you might be a number one revenue generator, But if your comments damage my ability to make revenue in any other form beyond what you can do, you're still taking money out of my pocket, and I'm still going to have a problem with that. As far as attendance policy goes, if you're showing up 10, 15 minutes late and it's only once or twice a day, or not a day, once or twice a week, the amount of work that you're doing on the clock compared to other employees who are showing up on time, I might consider a flexible hour situation where if you show up 2 hours late, you just work 2 hours late. If you show up 20 minutes late, you work 20 minutes. Like that's, I mean, we actually kind of do that in my shop where they don't really care if you show up 10 minutes late because you're stuck in the Starbucks drive-thru, kind of a thing. Like you're expected to be on time, but as long as you do your job, or whatever. So again, as long as it's not taking money away from me, we're fine. But if another employee is relying on you to be there on time and you not being on time causes them to have problems and that loses me money, whether it be a sale or assistance with a project or something like that, then I'm going to start adding disciplinary issues. It's going to be kind of my philosophy with every answer to an extent. The final one, and this kind of comes to a he said, she said, because, like you said, I can't prove it. If I can't prove it, I can't hold you to it. But I do believe that there is a level of honesty in a whistleblower situation where if employees come up to me and can give me examples of things you might have said that are inappropriate directly to them, I'm going to address them, whether they're true or not. I might not do anything about it because I can't prove it, and I don't want to be illegally proactive, keyword illegally. But at the same time, I'm going to sit you down and be like, hey, these comments have been made. I'm keeping an eye on you because that's one thing I will not tolerate, no matter what. I do not want a lawsuit. I do not want unhappy employees for that reason. If they're mad at you because you're out doing their sales and they're just frustrated because you're just running laps around them, that's their problem, not mine. I'm still doing what I need to do as a business, and that's to make money. But if they're uncomfortable or afraid to come to work because of things you are saying or things you might be doing with your gestures, or maybe you're putting hands on people's shoulders or something like that, true hostile work environment / sexual harassment will not be tolerated. Again, since I can't prove it, I'm not gonna just fire you because then I get into a situation of a wrongful firing situation. Either way, I'm gonna end up in the EEOC. Is either my employees are gonna finally be fed up with it and gonna take me to court for not doing anything about it, or I'm gonna end up in the EEOC because I fired you and it was wrongful. I mean, technically, I'm in a right to work state if I'm in North Carolina. I can fire you because your eyes are the wrong color, but the fact remains the same. I'm a human being. I'm not gonna do something like that. But you will be under a radar, and you will be watched heavily. So I'm gonna try and play your ball game. I really like you. You make me a good lot of money. You do well at what you do, but you're still just a person. You're still an employee, and you're expected to be held to a certain standard. So, kind of take it with a grain of salt. Probably not going to do anything in about 90% of the stuff that is less than favorable courts. I'm just probably not necessarily going to just look away, but it doesn't really affect the job that needs to be done. But the obvious will not be tolerated thing is the harassment situation. So, but yeah, that's how I would approach the hypothetical situation. I kind of got a little bit too in character. I started noticing I was getting like, I was legitimately getting irritated. But yeah, so I'm curious to see how you're going to react to it. I know he said that you're supposed to be him, kind of a thing. So this is gonna be kind of like a fun little game for me. So I definitely want to look forward to those replies and kind of be boss employee game. So all right, cool. I appreciate it. Have a great night.